Something just happened in the global economy that Washington never saw coming. BRICS, the powerful economic alliance of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has just delivered a devastating blow to the United States economy. And it's not through bombs, bullets, or even cyber attacks. It's through something far more dangerous in today's world: 100% tariffs on critical U.S. exports. That's right, America's largest competitors are locking the gates, raising prices, and hitting U.S. products with crushing levies that could collapse industries overnight. Before we unpack this massive global move, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss out on any major shifts shaping our economic future. The announcement came fast, a joint declaration from the BRICS bloc revealing a coordinated move to impose 100% tariffs on a wide range of American goods. We're talking everything from U.S. agricultural products to high-tech exports, automobiles, and even certain types of machinery. This isn't some trade tiff, this is a full-on economic strike. What's more alarming is the why. BRICS isn't just retaliating for fun. This is about power. It's about shifting control of global trade away from the West, particularly the United States, and repositioning it in the hands of emerging powers that feel they've been sidelined for far too long. For decades, America called the shots. Now, BRICS is saying, no more. And make no mistake, this is a strategy. Not chaos. Not emotional politics. But cold, calculated moves to build an alternative global system, one that doesn't depend on the US dollar or bow to Western pressure. Let's talk about who's feeling the heat first. American farmers, especially those exporting soybeans, corn, beef, and poultry, are now finding their goods priced out of major BRICS markets. In fact, India and China, two of the largest global importers, have already suspended new contracts with U.S. grain exporters. The American automotive sector is next in line. Electric vehicles and components headed for South Africa, Brazil, and India are now priced too high to compete. Companies like Tesla, GM, and Ford, which had been counting on expansion into developing markets, are watching those doors close. Even technology manufacturers are feeling it. Semiconductors, computing equipment, and optical gear all face steep new tariffs. China in particular has shifted towards sourcing internally or from BRICS partners instead of relying on American suppliers. This isn't just a jab. It's an economic chokehold. And the effects are rippling through Wall Street, small businesses, and family farms across America. At the core of this retaliation is something bigger: de-dollarization. BRICS has been quietly pushing a strategy to weaken the US dollar's role in global trade. These new tariffs, they're tied to new trade deals being settled in local currencies or a proposed BRICS digital currency, completely bypassing the dollar. This is serious. Over 80% of international trade has traditionally flowed through the US dollar. But if BRICS succeeds in creating a new system, a currency backed by commodities or gold, perhaps, America's ability to sanction, influence, and lead would shrink dramatically. And now, with the 100% tariffs, BRICS nations are pushing their own citizens and trading partners to shift away from American financial systems even faster. Banks are adjusting. Governments are taking notes. And US economic dominance is beginning to tremble under pressure. Back in Washington, the response hasn't been confident, it's been chaotic. Some politicians are calling for reciprocal tariffs on BRICS goods. Others are demanding urgent trade talks. But internally, there's a growing fear that the US can't win a trade war on this scale anymore. Unlike previous battles with China or the EU, this isn't one-on-one. BRICS is a bloc, a coalition with economic reach and political will. They control a massive share of global manufacturing, rare earth minerals, oil and gas reserves, and agricultural production. And when they act together, their leverage grows exponentially. The White House, scrambling for answers, is reportedly reviewing emergency subsidies for affected industries and considering WTO actions. But the damage is already done. Confidence is slipping. And international allies are watching America closely, wondering if this is the beginning of the end of its economic supremacy. The average American might not feel this yet, but they will. These BRICS tariffs are going to drive up prices at home. That's because many US industries rely on exports to stay afloat. Without those international buyers, inventory piles up, production slows down, and eventually, companies cut back or shut down. That triggers job losses. And it doesn't stop there. Supply chains, already fragile after the pandemic, are being rerouted. Countries like Brazil and China are cutting US suppliers and replacing them with regional or BRICS partners. Ports in Los Angeles, Savannah, and Houston are already seeing cargo volume projections revised down. Meanwhile, shipping companies are rebalancing routes away from US destinations. Global logistics is adjusting, and not in America's favor. This isn't a sudden move. BRICS has been preparing for this moment for years. China built the Belt and Road Initiative to reduce dependency on Western-controlled ports and routes. Russia has invested heavily in parallel banking systems. India has long promoted trade in rupees with Asian and African nations. Brazil and South Africa have expanded their regional influence through trade and commodity deals. Now, with these 100% tariffs, BRICS is unleashing a coordinated wave of economic resistance to Western dominance. And behind closed doors, other nations are starting to consider joining the BRICS fold. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Iran, and Indonesia have all expressed interest or are already joining formal discussions. That means more resources, more markets, and more power aligned against American interests. The American worker, once the engine of the world economy, is now standing in the line of fire. Farms that depended on Chinese buyers are now facing bankruptcy. Small manufacturers that sold components to South Africa or India are closing shop. And tech firms that once dreamed of expansion into Brazil are now laying off workers instead. Unions are furious. States with large export economies, like Iowa, Michigan, Texas, and California, are bracing for massive job losses. And the worst part? There's no quick fix. Tariff wars are slow and painful. Retaliation leads to escalation. And the ones who suffer first and most are rarely the elite. It's the everyday worker. While the US tries to patch holes, BRICS is building an alternative. They're setting up joint payment systems, trade corridors, and investment banks that exclude Western influence. They're using gold, digital currencies, and direct barter to circumvent dollar-based systems. China is leading a push for a BRICS digital currency, possibly backed by a basket of commodities. Russia is promoting cross-border energy trading in rubles and yuan. India is cutting dollar deals in favor of rupees and UAE dirhams. In short, BRICS is done playing by America's rules. And this isn't just about politics, it's about vision. A new vision for a world where power is more evenly distributed and economies aren't held hostage by any single superpower. World leaders are watching this unfold with a mix of concern and curiosity. European nations, traditionally aligned with the US, are beginning to diversify. They're securing energy from Africa, signing trade deals with South America, and building their own digital finance frameworks. Meanwhile, countries in the global south, long frustrated by IMF rules and dollar debt burdens, are now turning toward BRICS as a more balanced partner. It's a global realignment. And America, once at the center, is now struggling to keep hold of the wheel. We are watching the slow but undeniable shift of power, from west to east, from Washington to Beijing, from Wall Street to a new world order. BRICS, with their 100% tariffs, have fired an economic warning shot that Washington can no longer ignore. It's not just about trade. It's about trust, currency, control, and the future of global leadership. The question now is, can the US adapt? Or is it too late to rebuild its standing in a world that's already moving on? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the economic battlefield has changed forever. If you found this analysis eye-opening, make sure to subscribe to the channel, tap the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to understand what's really going on behind the headlines.